Welcome back to the channel, everyone. The last video I did, which has been a while ago, I know, I apologize, but I talked about doing the video on the GTO and the Corvette that you can kind of see over there in the corner of the frame. And I'm opting not to do that. I'm just going to focus on the GTO for this video, primarily because if I were to do both vehicles, there's a lot I want to say about both of them, and the video would be like 30 minutes long. I really don't want to do that. I don't want to make my videos any longer than they have to be. I know a lot of YouTubers are starting to do longer videos, but for me, I like to keep my video somewhere in the 10 to 15 minute range. To me, that's enough. So I'm going to focus on this car today. This is a 2006 Pontiac GTO. For those of you who don't know, this era of GTO was only made from 2004 through 2006, so not a very long amount of time. Started out with an LS1, ended up in 2005 going to an LS2, and they were really respectable performance cars for the time, but they just didn't hit over very big. They weren't very popular, so Pontiac discontinued them, and it's really kind of a bummer because they are very nice cars, very nice driving cars, and for the day they were very good performing cars. 400 horse, and he put a 6-speed manual behind it. A lot of fun and really a comfortable car on top of that. Now, as I said before, I was looking for something. I wanted a manual transmission. I wanted something a little bit newer, and bear in mind, for me, anything 2000 and newer is newer to me. That's newer technology. So this fit the bill really nicely. I was looking at like 5th gen Camaros. I was looking at like maybe SRT 8 Challengers, and this came on my radar, and I decided, you know what? I think a GTO would be kind of cool. I'd never driven one. I ended up finding this one. It was about 3 hours actually north of me, and wasn't able to actually get over there and take a look at it in person, but it looked good in the pictures. The miles are low. It's like just under 64,000 original miles. I like the mods the guy had done to it. It looked good. So I went on ahead, made the guy an offer, and I'll be very, very open about what I paid for the car. I offered him $16,500 for the car. He said yes. I sent him a deposit via PayPal, and then he kind of went radio silence on me, which made me a little nervous. Then he comes back after a little bit and says, hey, you know, I see these cars going for more. Could you do more? And everything like that, which I'm thinking, I've already given you money. I've already given you a deposit, and we've made a deal. But I ended up coming up to 17 to make him happy, and sent a transport to go get the car, brought it back. And the car, it's a cool car, really, honestly. Was I a little disappointed when I first got it? Yes, because my standards are pretty high. You know, the exterior, obviously, it's an older car, 2006, so you got to expect the fact that it's been daily driven a little bit. It's set outside some, so the paint isn't great. It shows well, it cleaned up well, would clean up even better, but it's got its share of scratches and everything like that, but no dents. It'd be very easy just to throw a paint job on it and make it nice again. Interior, on the other hand, is very, very clean. The headliner was sagging, and like the door panels, the Alcantara there was kind of coming back a little bit, so I had that re-glued. I had a new headliner put in it. The air conditioning wasn't working when I first got it, which I was hoping it was just going to be a charge. It wasn't, so I ended up having the compressor replaced. I had to put new hood shocks on it because the other ones were very weak, so these are great now. And really the only other thing I've got going on with it right now is there's a couple of gauges that don't work. I'm going to have Eddie look into that. When we go in the interior, you'll notice on the steering wheel there's a couple of buttons that are gone. I was going to replace those, but I decided I just got a completely new steering wheel that will go on it. I think it's going to look great. It'll be a nice addition to the car. So with the exception of that, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's check out the interior really quick. Then I'm going to take you guys under the hood, and I'm going to show you the modifications and tell you what kind of horsepower this car is turning out. Okay, interior-wise, I absolutely love black and red, and this red is beautiful. As you can see, the seat normally, right here on the bolster, it does have a little bit of wear right there, but normally the seams are splitting. That's not the case here. As I said, you see up there, I did a headliner. Gauges are really cool. I like the red clustered gauges. It is a 6-speed manual. As I said before, it does have an aftermarket head unit for the stereo, and the stereo sounds really good. And like I said, I do have another steering wheel that I did buy for this car, so that's kind of cool, but it's really super clean. And the nice thing about this car, trying to do this the best that I can here, sorry, is they do have a back seat, and it's a usable back seat. It's not huge, but it's usable and workable. So, and I'll just do a quick walk around on the car. It does have aftermarket wheels and tires. It has been lowered just a little bit. Does have an exhaust system, which you guys will hear in just a second. But you know, it does have some nicks and things like that. This car would really be just about perfect with a paint job. and it wouldn't take a lot to do it because obviously there's no body work to be done. Love the stance of the car, love the look of the car, love the sound of the car, love the performance of the car. So the only other thing is, you see that right there, that is chipped away, but those can be found through aftermarket. But yeah, I mean, the car is actually pretty clean. So let me take you guys under the hood and show you what that looks like. So yeah, that's the big thing right there, that Pro Charger. This thing also has a pretty healthy cam. It has headers all the way back. So it's built up pretty good. I've got the dyno sheet in the center console, and this thing made just a little north of 600 to the wheel. It runs really good, it runs really strong, and it sounds absolutely amazing. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna fire it up, I'll get the camera set up, and take you guys for a quick ride in it so you can see what it'll do. All right, so as I was filming, you might have heard some like pops and booms and bangs and stuff like that going on in the background, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. I come out front and let me show you what's going on in front of my house right now. There are fire, and let's walk over here and see what was on fire. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, someone just towed a vehicle up there and I guess lit it, because I don't see anybody else around other than the fire department. So yeah, looks like a fairly nice vehicle, but the front end's gone and there's a tow strap there. So someone just lit a vehicle on fire right in front of the house, broad daylight on a Saturday. Crazy, 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 crazy. See, never a dull moment where I live, that's for sure. So anyway, okay, I'm gonna fire this thing up, get in here real quick, and key. Oh. Yeah, it's got a pretty good little cam in it, and it runs well. It runs well. I'll get the camera hooked up, take it for a little spin. Oh, I had to get a little bit farther away from my house since highway patrol and fire is right there, dealing with that fiasco before I turn the camera on. You know, that's one thing that was always my pet peeve. People that dump their vehicles, and I'm sure that one's stolen, but people that dump vehicles, people that dump their trash, I just don't get it. I don't get it. It happens a lot, but it's just a pet peeve of mine. So it is what it is. Hey, made for a little excitement, thought I'd share it with you guys. But getting back to this vehicle drives really, really nicely. It cruises really nicely. Eddie took it over to like San Jose already, and it went over there no problem. You know, a couple hours there, a couple hours back in traffic, doesn't heat up. It's really good in that respect. You know, but it is a tuned vehicle. It is a higher performance version. And I love the way this thing sounds. To me, this thing sitting there idling with that cam low sounds great. The supercharger sounds great. It is really a cool sounding vehicle. And I really do think that this vehicle has a potential to be a collector in the next few years. Generally speaking, when vehicles get to about 20 years old, and this model year is going to be coming up for that next year, that's when they start getting more desirable, especially when it was only made for a few short years like this one. But you know, you got to figure people that were getting their license back then, they kind of saw these vehicles coming out, couldn't afford them then, they can afford them now. They got some expendable cash, and they're willing to make the investment. So I do think these cars are future collectors. I think that the numbers on them are going to come up. It would probably be a very smart vehicle for me to hold on to for a while and just see where things go. But let's see. As long as I've got a little bit of open road, this is a nice smooth road, there's no cross streets. So I'm going to step into it for a couple of gears. I got plenty of temperature in the motor, so we should be good to go. gets it. She definitely gets up and runs. And the sound that this thing makes is amazing. When Eddie first drove it, he said it kind of reminded him of the Pantera. And it really does. That Pantera had an amazing sound, probably the most amazing sounding vehicle that I've ever had. And this is a very close second. Just the sound is awesome. I cannot beat the sound of this vehicle. And it pulls right from the very beginning. It doesn't spin very much, which considering the tires like on the back are a little worn, and they're 255, so they're not horribly wide, but it does. It hooks up really nicely. It's really nice. That's just moderate throttle, and then drop it into 6th gear and cruise. You know? But yeah, that was like half throttle right there. Not taking it up to redline or anything like that. I mean, this thing redlines at like 6,500 RPM. So it's tuned well. Whoever set it up and built it well. It does have an aftermarket clutch to handle the extra power, but it is not a stiff clutch. Actually, the Corvette's clutch is stiffer than this. But yeah, I like the car. I like driving it. It is unique, it's different, it's fun. The question is am I gonna keep it? And I was gonna leave you guys in suspense as to what vehicle I was gonna keep, what vehicle I was gonna sell, until I did the Corvette video. But the Corvette videos, it's a little ways off yet, and I'll explain why. So I'm gonna take this thing back to the shop and get out. I'll sum up the video, I'll do an outro, and then I'll talk a little bit about what's going and what's gonna be happening. All right, so in turn, a cool car. You know, this thing, I think it's a good candidate to sell. Like I said, I'm into it. 17 is what I paid initially for it. I probably put another couple grand into it so far. So, you know, I'm gonna be into it for about 19. And that's where I stand on this one. This car here, like I said, I like to do a video. And I could do a video, don't get me wrong. It runs and drives, it's fine, but something is not quite right on the tuning. And I just think it needs some adjustment and some tweaking. It breaks up around 5 grand. We had some issues with mass airflow. We had some issues with the blow off. Been playing around with the air cleaner because the air cleaner was just completely clogged. And I thought all that stuff was going to take care of it. But it idles a little high. And I think it's in the tuning, really. I think it's going to need some adjustments. This car actually came with headers that weren't installed. They were pulled off prior to me getting the car. So I'm thinking, you know, put the headers back on, have it retuned and everything like that. So I've got a shop, I've got a place that's going to do it for me, but it's looking like it's another month. So it'll be after that, and then depending on weather, before I can actually do a video on this car. So the question is, which car is going to go? Am I going to sell this one, or am I going to sell this one? And the answer is probably obvious to a lot of people. I'm going to end up selling this one. It's probably stupid because I think this car is a better investment with the mileage on it. I mean, the Corvette has more miles on it. The Corvette does have some mods done to it, just so you know. I did mention blow off, so it does have a Pro Charger as well, and it has mild cam, but it doesn't sound anything like this. It doesn't have the full exhaust. It doesn't have as aggressive of a cam, and it doesn't just pull out the gate like this one does. Of course, the Corvette does need some tuning, so I'm thinking once the Corvette's tuned in, it's probably gonna be a little bit faster and a little bit more beastly, but yeah, I'm gonna sell this one. Truthfully, I'm gonna ask what I've got into it. I don't know if that's gonna be a good number or not. I'm not in a super big hurry to sell it, but on the other hand, I just like to move on from it because I am starting to do some stuff back in Tennessee. I'm gonna have the cement pad poured next week for the shop. And then I would like to get the shop built actually when I'm back there in June. So it'd be kind of cool to kind of document that and talk to you guys about that. So that is the plan. So I'd like to freeze up some cash. Certainly the Nova is actually down at Al's Transmission right now, and we're doing some stuff to it. And hopefully I'm gonna get it dialed in, and that thing should be up for sale within the next week or two. And I can get rid of that and free up some cash, but I really would like to free up some more cash and get rid of this one. So this one's gonna be going up for sale. I don't know how soon. Like I said, I would like Eddie to fix a couple of the gauges, and that's really about it. Everything else is pretty good on it. So it'll be good to go here really soon. But yeah, that's what's going on right now with me. So 2 new vehicles. Next one, I think, hopefully will be on this Corvette. It might end up being on the Nova, because I did want to do a video on the Nova. So, and the Nova should be back here probably in the next week or so. So I should be able to do a video on that, which I would like to do, and then I'll get that one up for sale. So maybe the Nova, then the Corvette. So, but the Corvette is, like I said, a month off at least. So at any rate, tell me what you guys think. Tell me what your guys' thoughts are. If there's anybody interested in this car, talk to me. Let's see if we can come up with a deal that makes us both happy. And with that, I'll bring it to an end. As always, guys, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, with that, I will just say, God bless. Take care. Have an absolutely amazing day.